What is happening, people? Good afternoon. Welcome back to the Pole Position Pod. The Chinese Grand Prix has finally been commenced. Kimi Antonelli has won the China Grand Prix. The Chinese Grand Prix, excuse me. It's his first ever race victory. You know, his first ever race win in Formula One. Congratulations to Kimi Antonelli. And Sir Lewis Hamilton with his first ever podium for Ferrari. First ever race podium for Ferrari, not first ever podium. You know what I mean? Big up Lewis Hamilton. On Mother's Day in the UK, gets his first ever podium for Ferrari. Great stuff. Good shit we have going over there at Ferrari. People, first and foremost, on your way in, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Make sure you guys, if you're watching it from Twitter, go over to YouTube at AN Sports 7, hit the like button over there, subscribe to the channel, and turn your notification bell so you don't miss an upload, you don't miss a live, and you don't miss a video. Augustia is back. We're going to discuss the race. We're going to discuss everything that went down today, everything that happened, everything that unfolded. Lots of drama, lots of things happened on the track today, Augustia. But listen, big up to you, bro, and thank you for joining. And let's get started.
Yeah, Ekevin, beautifully put, well summarized and encapsulated there. Wow, what a wholesome podium. Total Wolf said it, but I agree with Total Wolf. To me, this is the most fulfilling, the most empowering podium I've seen in Formula One since it was Verstappen, Hamilton, Alonso, and Adrian Newey at Canada all those years ago. I think it was 2023. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. You could not write this podium any better. You had Kimi and Andrea Antonelli, 19 years of age, the youngest ever pole sitter in Formula One history, translating that into his first ever victory, and did it in style as well, defying all those demons of not being able to lead from the front, not having the composure to cook and claim victories. You had George Russell, your championship contender, in P2, alongside his two biggest allies on the grid, Antonelli and first time ever Ferrari podium, Sir Lewis Carl Davidson Hamilton. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. We absolutely love that. And then Hamilton, well-deserved podium, one of his finer races, as he pointed out. The wheel-to-wheel action we saw at the beginning of the race, surging to first place at the start. Hamilton from starts supreme this year. Ferrari supreme. Hamilton himself is S tier at those starts. Taking it to Kimi Antonelli, wheel-to-wheel with George Russell for the first stint, and then with Charles Leclerc throughout the entirety of the race, and not just relying on the Mario Kart-style mushroom overtake button, not just requiring on deployment, but also beautiful, authentic wheel-to-wheel racing in those tough corners as well. Hamilton outlasting Charlie Leclerc, his teammate, on that front and claiming a well-deserved podium, standing alongside none other than his longtime engineer, his former engineer, his was one of his closest friends on the grid, Bono, on the podium. So it was just beautiful. And if you are a Mercedes fan, if you are a Lewis Hamilton fan, it could not be more of a divine, more of a heavenly podium for you to claim your first as a Ferrari driver.
Yeah, man, big up Lewis Hamilton, big up Ferrari, man. It was a great race from both drivers. But, first and foremost, I think we saw with Kimi Antonelli. I mean, because that's his first ever race victory. I think that's the bigger news. I mean, this is your first season in Formula or second season in Formula One. You are pretty much a sophomore year now in Formula One. I think you're pretty much in the sophomore year. So, I mean, you got your race victory, with Mercedes, and yeah, I mean, it was well deserved. I mean, Kimi Antonelli from the start. I mean, he dropped a few places. He's had a bit of a struggle. The Ferraris took over, and then he came back and he went on to win the race. And so, like I said, big up Kimi Antonelli and what he did. It's remarkable, totally remarkable. Also, the Ferraris, man, really really big from both drivers. I mean, wheel to wheel racing, end to end. It was good fun to watch. As a Ferrari fan myself, I enjoyed that battle. I enjoyed the battle between third and fourth and Ferrari. I mean, like, you finally we're seeing two Ferrari cars be competitive. And I've already said, Augustia, since the start of the race, since the start of this year, Ferrari looked competitive, and today proved it. Today proved it completely. Today proved my point. Today proved why Ferrari can still be a championship contender. Do I think they will win the championship at the moment as things stand? Probably not yet. But if they can bring in a new package, if they can bring in like a new sort of, if they can make some upgrades going into Suzuka, and the 1 month break we have because of the Bahrain and Saudi Arabia Grand Prix cancellations, if the upgrades do happen and Ferrari do get the upgrades done, we shall see if they can compete for a championship from then onwards. But for now, I'm enjoying it. Let it go this way, and onwards and upwards from here, I guess. So big up to Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton. But Lewis Hamilton's first ever podium for Ferrari. I'm surprised it took this long, considering the type of driver he is, considering how good Ferrari have been to start the year. I mean, obviously last year has been an appalling year for Ferrari, but this year has been a much better season, much better year, and a much improvement, much more of an improvement for Ferrari. But listen, Kimi Antonelli, man, congratulations on your race win. Congratulations on your race win, Kimi. Deserved. Big up to Fosi. Big up to you, bro. Grazie, 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 lero, grazie a tutti. Yes. I can read a little bit, because I did a bit of Spanish, so I can kind of, read out the words in a way. Big up to you. But I know this is Italian, but it's similar in a way, isn't it? It's kind of similar. This is disaster for Red Bull. Big up GK. Big up to you, brother. Yeah, man, Red Bull. I mean, Isaac Hadjar had a bit of a struggle to start as well, and I think Max Verstappen also had the DNF. His car had a mechanical failure. He wasn't able to continue the race, and he didn't finish in the points. Dropped out of the race, had to retire his car. Unfortunate for Max. I mean, I think he had some complaints about his car, and the complaints are valid. The complaints are slowly starting to become more valid. We're actually seeing the real problems with Red Bull at the moment. We're starting to see the real issues that are going on over there at Red Bull. And Max's voices concerns. His voice is concerned so many times. He's talked about how crap his car has been, and he's talked about how, he's talked about how unprepared they've been to start the year, and you can clearly see it from the way Red Bull have been racing. Isaac Hadjar has been the much better driver to start the year. You can clearly tell. I mean, Verstappen had one DNF. I mean, Hadjar had one crash out last week, but Hadjar got into the top 8 this week. I think he finished in the top 8, didn't he, this week, if I'm not mistaken? Or top 10. I don't remember where you finished. Was it top 8 or top 10? I don't remember where you finished. But Isaac Hadjar, decent. Racing Bulls, not too much of an amazing week, but it's better. It was better than before. I mean, not better than before, excuse me, but better than what I expected. Arvid Lindblad had his car spun at one point as well. I think he went off the track, lost a lot of time, lost a lot of places. And I mean, like I said, Red Bull have a lot on their hands for this week. They're gonna have to try and fix it before Suzuka, before Japan. But at the moment, McLaren, hey, champions, what's going on? Didn't even race. Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri didn't even race. What happened? What happened to your car, man? You know what I mean? What happened to your car? Hey, as a Ferrari fan, I don't like McLaren, and yeah, man, continue this. No, I'm kidding. I want to see good racing, but you know what I mean. Like they did race this week, slowly but surely. The Mercedes engines. Hey, hopefully they're on the downfall. Are they on the downfall layer this week? Mercedes engines. You heard George Russell complained about his rear wing. You seen their battery. At one point the batteries are degrading like crazy. So you never know, man. Things could change come next week or next race. Sorry, excuse me.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ekman, on the McLaren point. Many people have been saying that McLaren, no longer a championship-winning team, they're a midfield team. Forget midfield, they ain't even on the field. Guys, they can't even get on the field. Oscar Piastri is the first McLaren driver since Bruce McLaren himself to have back-to-back DNS. Guys, do we realize how ridiculous that is? Since Bruce McLaren, since the founder of McLaren, has no McLaren driver failed to start 2 races in a row. Because remember, Ekman, Oscar didn't even race last week. He couldn't even get out last.
Crashed into the
Yeah.
wall.
So this season, Oscar is yet to race at all, and we are
On
in
the
the end of.
formation lap as well. On the
With-
formation lap.
Well, he made it further this time. At least he got to the grid. But then there was an electrical issue, two separate electrical issues, which is obviously very concerning from a battery and also engine standpoint. McLaren don't seem to be able to decipher that Mercedes utopia, the Mercedes loophole that they unlocked. McLaren are still struggling to find the key to that. But yeah, I agree. Tifosi, you're right. It seems to be Baku all over again, except this time it's not all on Oscar Piastri. The onus isn't on him. It's the team. It's the lack of alignment. It's the lack of balance. It's the lack of understanding of this Mercedes engine package, because it's like yielding a very powerful weapon for McLaren, Alpine, and Williams. You look at the three other teams on the grid that have the Mercedes package. The one team that is thriving is Alpine. Talk about Franco Colapinto today. I think by far, head and shoulders, his best race in a Formula One car so far. The wheel-to-wheel battles he held, not just again with the Haas. The Haas versus Alpine battle was cinema. It'll get overshadowed by the Leclerc-Hamilton fight and the Mercedes fight, understandably, but that was high octane, quality of the highest level, by the way. It was end-to-end. You did not know which way it was going to go. Franco Colapinto, though, held down his own with older tires, with double the older length of tires for a long period of time, and he also kept back Lewis Hamilton, Leclerc, and George Russell for a bit as well. So kudos to Franco Colapinto. Super, super, super impressive, but coming back to the point on the Mercedes engines, we have Williams, we have McLaren, we have Alpine. Only one of them truly seem to have a proper, a succinct, a functional car. Look at Williams, look at McLaren. Both of them are struggling to understand the weapon of the Mercedes engine compression benefit that they have. And again, I think that's a testament to if you have a powerful weapon and you don't know how to use that weapon, that tool becomes your biggest threat. And for Williams and for McLaren, at the moment, it is a bit dysfunctional down on both of those factories. And yeah, Tifosi, 100% correct. That midfield battle, Alpine, Haas, V-Carb, and then Max Verstappen in the mix. Super, super impressive. Thoroughly enjoyed it as fans. And even then, Lewis Hamilton and Charlie Leclerc, give them both a shout out. I know Jack Villeneuve was bitching and moaning about it on the post show. I completely disagree with his remarks. Jack Villeneuve said they shouldn't have fought. They should have worked as a team to fight Mercedes. I think even if they worked as a team to fight Mercedes, at the best situation, at the best case scenario, they would have finished third and fourth. I know, Ekavin, you talked about the engine and Mercedes having some issues. They don't. They have more in the tank. Most reports...
battle as well. Sorry, I don't think it was an intentional battle as well, because you know what it is. Like, I don't think that they're expected to be racing like this.
Yeah, nobody did.
You'd expect some sort of a gap between them two drivers, but actually it was quite level. It was quite even between at some point in the race. You know what I mean? Sorry, continue.
No, I agree with you. Nobody expected them to be this close from multiple different stints. Right? I think we all expected it out of the gates. The first few laps, maybe the first 15 laps, and then entering in the first window. But afterwards, at the core, lap 30, lap 40, to have them still going wheel for wheel, managing their battery, fighting through those corners where it's about driver skill rather than the ability of the team. That is like really, really impressive. Fair play. And as Leclerc said, he was having fun. Night and day difference from what Leclerc felt yesterday, where he was complaining about the fight with Hamilton. Today, he was enjoying it. It was liberating. It was fulfilling. It was freeing. Hamilton himself showed by once again, cometh the hour, cometh the moment. He is the tire whisperer. He can manage his tires better than almost any driver in the history of Formula One. And he can go wheel to wheel, toe to toe with anyone on any given day. So shout out to Hamilton and Leclerc for free, fair, and fine racing. It was truly a sight to behold. And then when it came to Kimi Antonelli and George Russell, yeah, guys, one thing we didn't talk about is with the races next month, Bahrain and Saudi Arabia being canceled, do you know what that means? That means 2 less races for Mercedes with this engine boost. Because remember, Ekavin, they were set to have 7 races from Melbourne all the way to Monaco. 7 races where they would have this 18-1 engine compression benefactor. Now, with Bahrain and Saudi Arabia off the grid, off the schedule, completely canceled, that means it's 2 less races for Mercedes to exploit the extraordinary advantage they have on the rest of the pack. So that is good news if you're a Ferrari fan. They keep building the gap. They keep halving the deficit. But again, as Charlie Leclerc said, Mercedes as a car, as a unit, even despite that engine compression boost, they have still built a very complete, a very well-rounded, a very robust and reliable car that everyone else seems to struggle to match. So it'll still take time. Russell and Antonelli will still be jousting for race wins. But if Ferrari can keep coming into it, if they can keep minimizing the damage, they'll be able to maximize the damage they cause when they have the best car.
There's another driver we haven't spoken about yet that's got his first top 10 finish this season. Carlos Sainz. His first top 10 finish this season with the Williams, the unprepared Williams this season. The Williams car that we all said that wasn't going to be, well prepared, this season. It wasn't going to be good enough to compete, We didn't think it was going to be good enough to even finish a race. Carlos Sainz finished the race in ninth. His first 2 points of the season. Williams' first 2 points of the season. Welcome to the Formula One season, Carlos Sainz. You have finally arrived. Yes, and I know it's just 2 points. I know it's not a most amazing finish, but the fact that the Williams haven't been good to start the year and he finished in the top 9 or the top 8, whatever you want to say, or top 10, excuse me, and he wasn't even 10. Wow. Fair play to Carlos Sainz, man. Big up Carlos Sainz. And another driver we haven't picked up, another one was Pierre Gasly. Another strong Alpine finish. Alpine are really looking like they've got the pace to compete this season. Not necessarily a championship contender, like I said on yesterday's show, but Alpine are definitely, they're definitely utilizing the Mercedes package or the Mercedes engine that provides to them. They're utilizing it well. They're using it to their best ability. And you can see a different Alpine to what you saw over the last few years. Yes, you might have seen a glimpse of double podium finishes, a lucky double podium finish in Brazil back in 2023 or 2024, excuse me. But still, the fact that they still finished, the fact that they started the year getting point after points, and especially in the sprints yesterday, added more points to their total. Alpine are a dangerous midfield battle. They're a very dangerous midfield battle this season because if you come up behind the Alpine, you might struggle to get past them this season. The Alpine, if you come up behind them in the pit stop, like I think Ferrari did, they came up behind Colapinto, right? I think they came up behind, was it Colapinto or was it Ollie Behrman in the Haas at one point? So it'll be a dangerous battle if your pit stop is done and you're behind Colapinto or you're behind Gasly, because like I said, the Alpine's defense might be a problem. It might be beneficial towards Mercedes because Mercedes are the ones going to be leading the race pretty much every single race. They're the ones who are going to lead the race, right? So you've already got Alpines in the midfield. They're the ones who are going to help Mercedes defend their lead. So Mercedes is going to need Alpine to be on point in Suzuka, whereas I think Alpine will be even better. I think Alpine are definitely a dark horse to finish in the top 4 or top 5 next race, excuse me. They're definitely a dark horse to finish in the top 5 if they can get their strategies right. If they can get their car ready for Suzuka, I think they should be able to finish in the top 5. There's definitely a really good chance for them to finish there. Obviously, this week Ollie Behrman finished in the top 5 this week. 3 British drivers in the top 5. I don't know when the last time this happened. I mean, Hamilton finished his first podium for Ferrari. George Russell gets second. Ollie Behrman finishes 5th. So 3 British drivers in the top 5. That's amazing. And you have Liam Lawson in the Racing Bulls finishing 7th as well. So someone else who's a part of the Commonwealth finishing in the top 10 as well. So you have 3 British drivers and you have a New Zealander, or you have a Kiwi in the top half. So like I said, it's been a good day of racing, and I guess I told you yesterday, Gussie, I was excited for the race for a reason. I was excited for today for a reason, and today proved it why I was excited. Today proved why I was going to be excited for the race, and there we go. We had a really good finish. We had a really, really good battle. Obviously Colapinto finished 10. You have Isaac Hadjar finishing 8th. Another one we haven't spoken about was Verstappen. Obviously, his car ended up having a mechanical failure that made sure that I spoke with him. I haven't heard from you yet on Verstappen. I don't know if you have anything to add, but if you're still tuning in, if you missed out on what happened, his car had a mechanical failure mid race. He wasn't able to continue. He had to retire the car in lap 30 something or lap 40 something. I couldn't remember what it was. But Verstappen almost didn't make it back to the pit stop. He had to retire, or he had to drive all the way with a mechanical failure from, I think, what was it, in the first 3 or 4 turns, all the way to the pit stop. And it was a long drive, so it could have ended in another yellow flag. It could have resulted in another yellow flag or another safety car, you know. And we could have had another pit stop. But I didn't think it'd be a one-stop race. I thought it was going to be a 2-stop race. Obviously, some drivers took the 2-stop, but the Mercedes and the Ferraris did not take the 2-stop. They took the 1-stop over the safety car in the first sector of the race. And you know what? Fair enough. Mercedes just weren't catchable. Obviously, Kimi had it spun out a little bit at the end, and he almost fell out of the. He almost dropped. He almost dropped into like the the lower. I would say, sorry, what was I gonna say again? Not lower, but he almost lost a lot of time. That's what I was gonna say, and that could have meant George Russell could have tried to catch up, but Kimi defended his lead well, and he managed to win the race, and he didn't lose a single place. Won the race. Big up Kimi Antonelli. Williams have disappeared. I'm gonna do my season prediction. Sure, you can do your season predictions if you want to. Oh, if you want to hop onto 4C, I'll send you the link, bro. If you want to join, let me know. I can't hear you guys here.
Yeah, I agree. Hop onto Vosi. Would be good to get your perspective. And I agree with you. I think our season predictions, for the most part, I'm quite satisfied with mine. I said Gasly and Behrman would be shout-outs, would be outside picks to fill in the top 10, and they are. At the moment, we'd have to say, if there are any drivers outside the conventional juggernaut teams, it's them two, right? Gasly and Behrman, both super, super high up. I think it's third row for them today. So nothing but respect for them. Yeah, you talk about Verstappen, Red Bull, a bunch of sinners, man. The rest of the grid, supreme. One battle after another in terms of the amount of action, wheel-to-wheel races. Did anyone get the reference? No? The amount of action in wheel-to-wheel racing that there is. It was super, super impressive. And Verstappen, GK, you said it's a disaster for Red Bull. I think that's a disservice to disaster. It is beyond a disaster. It is code red. It is nuclear level. Because at the moment, Max Verstappen, yeah, I mean, Akevin, you mentioned how Hadjar might be doing better than Verstappen. I don't agree. Verstappen has double the points for that reason. And last weekend, Verstappen drove up the pack to 5th place. But even then, on pure pace, at the best case scenario, them Red Bulls with the Ford power unit lack reliability and are at least a second off the pace from Mercedes and Ferrari, which is just utterly concerning. And a gap to make up that gap when Mercedes and Ferrari are also aggressively developing at an even faster and more precise rate. It is tough, tricky, and difficult times down at Milton Keynes. And then on top of that, you have Verstappen race starts off the line. If you're not going to be fast on straights, if you're not going to have the power that a Mercedes or a Ferrari car have, at least be able to have some sort of strength, distinctive strength, to make gains on them. But no, on race starts, Max Verstappen today had one of the worst starts again in his career, not just exclusive to the race, but also in the sprint. He went completely backwards. It's like playing on an F1 game. The first time you've ever picked up an F1 game on your PS or on your Xbox, on your PS5, and you try and manage the clutch. You can't get the clutch properly because you don't know how to use the controller. Max Verstappen went tumbling behind. And then even then he made his way back up, but he couldn't make his way back up higher than the midfield. So I think the truth is, guys, GK, Red Bull, it is a disaster. It's not turning into a disaster. It is a disaster for them already. I don't think Red Bull, we can consider them at the moment, Ekevin, a top team in the league anymore. I think we have to say the truth. The truth is, Ekevin, so far, at the current place, Red Bull are a midfield team. I don't know if you agree with that, Ekevin. I don't know if you agree with me, Tifosi. But I think Red Bull are a midfield team at the moment, and there is a long way back for Red Bull, and you just have to wonder, I asked this yesterday, what is the Dutchman thinking? Because already he despises, complete disdain. He's disenfranchised with the new regulations. He's not sure what he wants to do in terms of how to enjoy it, how to maximize it. And if Max Verstappen, the miracle worker, the messiah of the grid, if he can't somehow conjure up a solution to win, long way back for Red Bull this season. It will be tough times if you are a Milton Keynes supporter. Hell yeah.
definitely better and more fun in Australia but not because Hamilton finished on the podium, but it was more competitive in the close race as a whole. 100%, bro. Much better than Australia. Much better than Australia. I mean, you could see the competitiveness in all the cars. I mean, you can see the top 10. They're all quite close to each other at some point as well. I think even like the close to the middle sector, I think they were quite close to each other. It wasn't as big of a gap as you think. You'd think maybe Kimi would pull away. He did at the end, but there were times where when the safety car was on the track, everything just became it's close again. And then once the tires were changed, a lot has changed. Sainz went up to the top 9. Colapinto finished 10th. Gasly got into the top 6. Ollie Behrman got to the top 5. Also the battle between Gasly and Behrman was fun to watch as well. Them two drivers going wheel to wheel, literally not, I wouldn't say as fun as the Ferrari drivers, but you know what? It was a close enough battle, for me to speak on, because I think both were on the fresher tires. Both reserved the battery very, very well. They made sure that they saved a lot of power to compete. And like I said, big up to both the drivers, man, having a really good start to the season so far. I mean, as for their cars and as for their level, no disrespect to them, but it's been a good start. And if Ollie Behrman is going to be that Ferrari driver one day, I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. I'm liking the mentality. I'm really liking what I'm seeing from him. He looks competitive. He looks like a driver that wants to win. He has the eagerness, and he has a lot of confidence. This kid will not shy away. So I hope he continues this form, man. And hopefully one day, someday, somehow, he's that Ferrari driver. Somehow, whoever he replaces, good luck to him. I want to see him do well. Hickman wearing that Ferrari shirt and I gotta say Mercedes. Yeah, bro. You already know what I'm saying. You already know what I'm saying, bro. You know what I'm saying, man.
I'm just repping the Mercedes shirt because this was a Mercedes podium. A Mercedes 1, 2, 3, right? Greatest Mercedes driver ever. Kimi, George. Gotta do it, man. Mark the occasion. It's history.
It's true because Max is giving everything, but there are no results. That's because I wouldn't blame him, though. This is not on Max. And I know you're not blaming Max as well. I agree. I don't think it's on Max. I think this is more on the team for not giving him a good car to start the year. They don't look like they're prepared. They look like they're really unprepared. I mean, it's the most simplest explanation I can give you. They don't look like they have the package this season to compete at the moment. Their package, not the package. Sorry, the unit that they've got is dying down fast. They can't compete with the likes of Alpine. You're seeing Max Verstappen struggle behind the Racing Bulls as well. The sister car is better than the main Red Bull car so far.
By some distance.
Alpine is better than Red Bull so far. Even McLaren, bro. McLaren have been shit, right, in both races. Obviously, they didn't compete this race, but last race, Lando Norris finished above Max Verstappen, even with the problem that he had. I think Norris also had an issue last week in Melbourne, and this week he wasn't able to compete. Verstappen still hasn't gotten better than the points. Verstappen still hasn't overtaken him on the points. So, I mean, Red Bull have a lot of work to do if they want to get back on track. And no pun intended again, but for real, they really want to get back. If they want to get back on track, they need to make some changes, and they've got lots of time before Suzuka. They've got 2 weeks. They have to make a new upgrade, and they have a whole month and a half off before Formula One gets racing again. Before Formula One gets racing again, in a month and a half, right? They're gonna have to really improve. They have to make some changes, add a new packaging, make some upgrades to the weight of the car. They have to. Mercedes should just take the penalty at this rate if they have to. Mercedes, Aston Martin, Cadillac, Williams, and Audi. I'm looking at these cars to make some upgrades if they really, really want to compete for the rest of the season. If they want to make it a strong battle, if they want to make it a strong midfield battle, if they want to make it a strong top half battle, these cars are going to have to make some changes going into the fourth race and the fifth race of the season, because the fourth and the fifth race of the season have been cancelled, right? So they've got a whole month and a half off to really discuss with their team what they want to do going forward. We are gonna do shows on those weekends still, people. So even if the races aren't gonna happen, we're still gonna do shows. We might do something different. We might not talk about the race, obviously, because the race is cancelled. But we're gonna do something. We're gonna do something different. Do different Formula One style content. So stay tuned to that, people. And yeah, man. I mean, I've said my piece. I don't know if you have any more to say. I mean, we've got lots to discuss still if you want to. I mean, Hamilton's first podium for Ferrari took this long. George Russell from P10 in qualifying to P2, and he finished where he started. And yeah, man.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ekevin. I agree with everything you said on Alpine, on the sister car, V car, MasterCard, American Express, whatever you want to call that team. They are ahead of Red Bull at the moment. This is crisis mode at Red Bull, and there will be some talk. Come mid-season, come race 5, come race 7, come race 9, if there are no significant improvements, if the trajectory of Red Bull is not back to the top, there will be discussions, unfortunate but tough discussions on whether this current staff, Lauren Mecky's regime, which has been very peaceful, which last season brought some prosperous outcomes, whether they can still serve and whether they are still the right people to succeed at Red Bull. Max Verstappen. Now I wonder, again, he's still Max Verstappen. He's still the greatest driver in the grid by some distance. I think if we had to pick one driver today who we think is in terms of pure ability and also winningest mentality, the best one, we would still all say Max Verstappen, right? He's still the best driver on the grid.
Pretty much.
But in 6 months' time, if hypothetically, let me illustrate you a picture, Pablo Picasso picture. If Kimi Antonelli keeps getting...
15 drivers, yes. Sorry,
exactly. If Kimi Antonelli keeps picking up some race victories here and there, if he and George are relatively on the same area, would Toto Wolff pull the trigger and replace either of the drivers? Would he need to spend $100 million extra if the results are 1 and 2 in the championship already? If Kimi is fulfilling his potential this early on, if the generational talent is already pulling some of the greatest outcomes for someone in his sophomore year, as Ekevin pointed out, I'm just painting a picture. Max Verstappen, he may inadvertently, this may be a potential scenario, inadvertently be locked into staying in Red Bull because Mercedes might not even need to pursue his talents come next season. Or maybe they get rid of George Russell, who wins the championship this year, but they bring in Max next year. Will Max even have that clout, that certainty? Max has already shown in the first 2 races. I know, of course, just are so early days, a lot can change. Come May, the Miami Grand Prix, we could have a completely different tone on the situation. But Max Verstappen, while his performance, even if he performed to the peak of his abilities, that Red Bull wouldn't be any higher than 5th on their best day, on their dream day. Yeah. He himself has made some mistakes. The race starts, that's on him. Both race starts. He's also been a bit reckless. He's made some contact with drivers. The entire surroundings, the entire situation, the lack of ability to win at Red Bull is coming into play. It is also affecting Max from being able to harness his complete ability. So just watch out for that. I'm not saying it'll happen, but I'm painting a picture that Max Verstappen's worst case scenario, where he might be gridlocked to a Red Bull team because all the other teams will be similar stature to him. Ferrari will be similar stature. McLaren will be similar stature if Red Bull can rebuild. But Mercedes might just be the outright constructor. Why would they get Max Verstappen if they're already picking up World Championship victories? So just watch out for that. Who knows? And Tifosi, you're right. As Ekevin suggested earlier on, crazy that only 15 drivers finished. That's practically half the grid that wasn't able to finish the Grand Prix. And
Tifosi said that, not me. Tifosi said that.
No, I'm aware. I said Tifosi said that, and you also said that earlier on when we spoke backstage.
I had to go back and double check. Yeah, it was 15 drivers. Checo Perez finished rock bottom, so I'm not surprised. I mean, Cadillac have not done much to start the year. I mean, you don't expect much from Cadillac. It's its first season, new regulations and everything. I mean, first season in Formula One. You're not going to expect much, but still big name drivers regardless, But anyways, sorry, continue, guys.
I agree with you, but a special shout out. I know we've been talking about it, but shout out to Alpine because they have done a tremendous job, even with the Mercedes engine. The fact that they are managing to put all the pieces together properly, while McLaren and Williams are struggling. Last season, they were cut adrift from the pack. They were the only team where both drivers did not secure a single point last year. This year, they're looking like the best of the rest. They're looking like they're 4th or 5th best team at worst case. So it's really, really nice to be here. And apart from that, Ollie Behrman, keep doing what he's doing. Ekevin, I agree with you. that Ferrari seat will look very, very nice for him. He looks like he has the mentality, he has the confidence, he has the ability on wet, on dry, in quali, regardless of the circumstance, to still execute at a high quality. So good stuff. Really, really impressive.
Yeah, man. Obviously, like 8 drivers had DNFs. Albon had an issue with his car; he wasn't able to race. The McLarens had an issue; they weren't able to race as well. And some drivers just spun out, or some drivers just weren't able to continue. Verstappen didn't finish the race. Alonso and Aston Martin weren't able to continue the race. Lance Stroll. Yeah, I mean, there's some more drivers there, but if you know what I'm trying to say, like obviously they don't look like some of the cars don't look like they're ready this year. I mean, I think Carlos Sainz kind of got lucky with his 9th place finish because obviously Red Bull didn't finish the race. Red Bull weren't able to complete the race. But regardless, still credit to him for his 2 points of the year, and hopefully he continues doing what he does. Bigger Carlos Sainz. Is there anything we haven't pointed out that you want to talk about? Because I mean, there's still I'm sure there's some more things we can discuss on today's show. I mean, we've got Kimi Antonelli'S first ever race victory. Obviously, not gonna be the last victory he had this season. It'll be first of many, And then Hamilton's first Ferrari podium took a year, took a whole season, but he's finally got it, and hopefully gets his first ever podium next season. Next race, excuse me, not next season, next race. What I mean? Hopefully, he gets another podium next week because we need more points. We need more podium finishes, especially if Mercedes are going to continue what they're doing. Ferrari needs to pick up the podium places still. As long as Mercedes are winning, Ferrari needs to continue the podium places. Keep getting the podium places intact because once things turn around for Ferrari, I expect them to be both drivers in the podium continuously. I mean? It's coming home. Hey, I hope so, man. I really hope so, bro. I need it, man. Sorry.
Can I jump in real quick? I agree with you. I think the most encouraging thing we've seen is Ferrari. Yes, despite being second best on the grid, for the most part, they seem to be making the correct decisions. They seem to be more competent, less mistakes. All the people, even Lewis Hamilton, last season, Hamilton in qualifying, was a shell of himself. He was an imposter. It was a doppelganger. He was so cut adrift from the pack, his Saturday would completely sabotage whatever result he would get on a Sunday. This year, he seems far more reliable on a Sunday. He also seems far more vintage-esque on a Sunday. And he's learning the trick of the trade even better. And on a Saturday, his Saturday results are matching his Sunday results. He is managing to he's out-qualified Leclerc this year, which is crazy to say. And I know the first 2 races are Leclerc's weakest typically. But the fact that Hamilton is out-qualifying Leclerc, going stride for stride, pound for pound, band for band with Charlie Leclerc, I think it is so encouraging for Lewis Hamilton. And I think Ferrari, like we've all said it, first 5 races now, just minimize the damage. You are doing exactly what you need to do. Keep building aggressively. I know Ferrari are also trying to circumvent the 16-to-1 engine compression. They're trying to find a loophole of their own. Maybe they'll find it soon. And they have built
I think by Suzuka they might bring in a new package. So I continue.
They are, exactly. And as George Russell said when they were wheel to wheel, Russell himself said Ferrari are fast in all the wrong corners. He means wrong corners for himself. They are fast in the corners, the toughest spots to overtake. If they can just find some more power with their engine, if they can find some more pure pace inherently.
Well, I wouldn't say the toughest because this year the cars are a lot thinner, so it's easier to overtake in the corners now. You know what I mean? It's a lot easier to overtake in the corners now this season compared to last season.
Yeah, 100%, I agree with you. But that's exactly why the Ferrari car is tough, because they're the toughest to overtake in those corners. George Russell only overtook Leclerc and Hamilton on that long straight in Sector 3. For the entirety of the race, jousting on pure merit, Hamilton and Leclerc had the upper edge on George Russell. So, yeah, I agree with you guys. And look, Ferrari, do what you need to do. You should be satisfied. You should be pleased. Mercedes, you will be elated. You could not write this any better. 1, 2, and all 3 races so far. And hopefully we get a fun fight between Hamilton and Leclerc. We get a fun fight between Antonelli and Russell in a fortnight's time in Suzuka.
Yeah, I mean, obviously in Suzuka there's long straights, right? In that one, or it's going to be.
There's no long straight as long as Shanghai, but there are a couple straights. So again, Mercedes, I think Sector 3, there's a long straight, but they're super fast. The sectors are really, really fast. It's the fastest Grand Prix on the grid.
Yeah. So I'm expecting this year Ferrari to win most of the non-straight races. If you know what I'm trying to say, like a lot of the races where it's going to be, for example, if for example Qatar later on in the year, you know, that type of race, that's where Ferrari will strive in. You know what I mean? And if we go to another race, Baku, maybe Baku, that's where Ferrari could strive as well. Maybe Silverstone, you know, lesser straights, you know, that's where I think they'll strive on. You know, it'll be much easier for Ferrari to compete on those tracks because they're better in the corners than they are on the straights. Because Mercedes have more pace on the straights, whereas Ferrari have more pace in the corners. So I think in the races where there's more corners than straights, or just barely any, or just only one straight line, that's where Ferrari are gonna have a field day with it. And I think what was it in Mexico? I think Ferrari last time Ferrari had was it Mexico last year? I think that's where the Leicester Straights as well.
Leicester Straights, absolutely, but they won't have a field day. If anything, I don't even think they'd be favorites still. I think on every single circuit, regardless of the layout, of course, Ekevin, you're right, the ones with less straights, with more corners, with more high-speed or low-speed corners, Ferrari will be favorites in those areas. But throughout the entirety of the track, they won't be favorites because that Mercedes engine, the fact that they're gaining 15 to 20 more horsepower per lap, the fact that they can gain a potential 2 to 5 tenths per lap, that and that alone, outside of energy deployment, which has to be neon perfect if Ferrari want to penetrate the Mercedes gap. I think every circuit we go to, until that engine deficit is somewhat slashed and corrected, Mercedes will be heavy favorites.
Yeah, but at the same time, like if you look at the battery in today's race, if you look at the battery, I think there were times where George Russell wasn't able to preserve his battery, and that's why he struggled to get past the Ferrari on that straight. And especially with the corners, with more corners, you're more likely to reserve more battery. Preserve more battery power. You're more likely to have more battery power in those corners. You know what I'm trying to say? You're more likely to strive in those type of races. That's where Ferrari can really save a lot of the battery and a lot of the power and the endurance for the rest of the race. The durability will improve. Ferrari will definitely make some improvements going into Suzuka. And if the improvements are what will help them get over the line this season in some of the races, because expect Ferrari to win some races very, very soon. I don't know when, but expect to win very, very soon. Regardless of the Mercedes package, regardless of the compression, expect some race wins this season, and we'll see where we go from there. But expect them very, very soon. If the upgrades are the ones that will get Ferrari the race wins, I will be there for it. I will be there. I will be hoping that Ferrari make those upgrades, and I will hope that Ferrari will win those races. In due time, the month and a half off that we have, I really hope that that's the month and a half off we take to really reflect on the first 3 races of the year and see where they can improve. Improve the weight of the car, improve the improve the package if you want to. You've got time off, take it, and discuss some regulations as well with the FIA if you have to. It's a really good time to change things if you have to, but make sure it's beneficial for yourself as well. Try and make it beneficial for yourself. Try and make it beneficial for yourselves, because we cannot let Mercedes get away with this. That's all I gotta say. We can't let Mercedes run away with it. It's gonna really be a damning indictment on the season. Haas is 4th and only 1 point behind McLaren in 3rd. Yeah, man, Haas having a good season. I mean, also the Ferrari engine, don't forget, and Ollie Behrman's having a really good season as well. So big up to him, man. Big up to Ollie Behrman. Big up to the rest of the Haas drivers as well. Big up to who's the other Haas driver again?
Ocon,
Esteban Ocon.
impressive as well.
Both of them having a good start to the year, man, and finishing in the points back in races. So there you go.
I agree.
Go
I
on.
have a couple quotes, couple stats. Okay.
Go
First
go.
of all, Max Verstappen come out and said that again, no surprise. 2026 cars are a joke. I'd say the same thing if I won. If anyone actually finds this funny, they don't understand what racing is about. So Ekevin, Max Verstappen has hit out verbatim at anyone who compliments the credibility of these cars and says they don't understand racing. Ekevin, do you like the 2026 cars?
No, I mean, so far it's been fun as a Ferrari fan to watch the competitiveness, but
Do
into
you like the
safety
cars?
split.
Okay, so you don't understand racing. According to Max Verstappen, not me. I'm not saying that. You don't understand
Yeah.
racing if you don't like these cars. That's what Max Verstappen has come out saying. Uh, Other stats, Ollie Behrman has more points than Red Bull this season.
Mm.
Behrman has 17 points. Red Bull combined have 12 points. Think about that.
So you're saying Red Bull have a combined total of 12 points so far to start the year
And Ollie Behrman has 17 on his own so far, which
because
is
the Ferrari engines. It's why
not the
the Ferrari
Ferrari engine. I mean, so the Haas have built a good car. Ollie
Haas
Behrman
is a
is.
Ferrari, Haas is a Ferrari engine,
They have a Ferrari engine, but it's not just the engine. It's also because
but
Haas built a reliable car, deploying
but yeah,
battery much better, more
but I think
solid on race sides.
but I think the Ferrari engine plays a part in it as well because it helps with the speed.
Oh, 1,000,000% can't discount it. And then you want to talk about speed in terms of pure race pace today in China. The average race pace, Mercedes were 6 tenths faster than Ferrari. So whatever advantage you want to talk about, Mercedes were just in a league of their own. Alpine were 6 tenths behind Ferrari, the third fastest team. Alpine, Haas, Red Bull. That was the order. Alpine and Haas were faster than Red Bull today, and were faster than Red Bull by around 3 tenths, which is absolutely nuts.
We're seeing close racing and battle. Indeed, Max, you can't always be right. So if you got a problem, change your fucking car. I'm kidding. No, but
Yeah,
I mean, he does though. You're not wrong. He has to make changes to his car. I think he does for sure because, look, Max can't get away. Max can't continue this. Max cannot continue. Um, you know, Red Bull can't continue the way they're going right now. At the rate that they're going, they can't continue this. They have to
yeah.
make the changes necessary before Suzuka and in that month and a half break we have. You know, so in that time, they have to make some upgrades. I think. What's the next race after Saudi? Are we going to Europe? Now we're going to America,
Miami.
Miami. So in
Yeah.
Miami, I'm expecting some big changes, and we get racing in like what, May or something.
Yep.
Oh man!
Early
So
May.
we don't only on for a month and a half. But don't worry, people. We're not going anywhere. We're still going to do some shows on Formula One. If any upgrades, if anything happens, we are still going to discuss it on here. Any big news, anything, we're gonna go live for all that. So make sure you guys do stay tuned to that. But yeah, Max Verstappen does have to make the upgrades, man. Otherwise, he's gonna struggle. I want to throw in the corner front. Fair enough.
Yeah, big up. Can I just say, I actually agree with Max, but I think there are multiple ways of looking at it from an entertainment perspective, from a wheel to wheel perspective, from overtaking. Yeah, these regulations have been a success, no doubt about this. These regulations have been absolutely successful. They did what they set out to do, but from an authentic, immersive driver experience, no, it's completely failed. This is Mario Kart, guys. Make no bones about it. This isn't about who is the best driver. Because Leclerc and Hamilton were better than George Russell today. Ekevin, you mentioned how George Russell struggled with his battery. Yet he still won by an insurmountable margin. He beat them by over 15 seconds. And I know they were fighting, so that takes into their time, but still. I think the problem here is for the drivers, with that manual overtake button, with the battery deployment, this becomes more about how you manage that blue shell, how you manage that mushroom in Mario Kart, rather than how you actually manage, okay, am I faster? Are they faster? Do we have a quicker engine? What's our strategy? It isn't really about strategy in that sense. It's more about what item you get. And it's about understanding that. So I think over time, drivers do have autonomy, except the superiority comes from the Mario Kart attributes rather than the actual machines and men
That's
in the
not what
car.
I refer to.
Yeah,
That's not what I refer to exactly.
exactly. So,
Race
so that's why I agree with.
race starts at loss of credibility because it's not who reacts the fastest. It's become who has more battery. True. Because
And that is still about driver skill. Don't get that twisted.
yeah,
Driver and
it
team
is.
skill. that is
But
less about driver skill, that is more about Mario Kart, that is more about arcade, that's more about playing the Nintendo Switch or the Nintendo Wii rather than playing actual Formula One racing.
I like the way how Ferrari makes it competitive from the very start. I like it. I like how it's competitive from the very start. But the only problem is, once it gets to like the first 2 or 3 turns, it just dies down. The hype of the start just dies down because we get excited and then all of a sudden we're like, oh my god, can we actually do something? Can we actually pull off something? It's not always about like I said, the start is how you. What was the quote I said again on my streams? How could I forget my own quote? My bad. It's always the start that you have to get over because it's that traffic that you have to get through. It's that crowd, and especially in a very very tight space, on a track with very very tight space, it's gonna be very very difficult to overtake. So it's always the start that determines how you continue the race. But as so far this year, my point is not. My point doesn't really stand. My point is kind of, I'm starting to lose a bit of credibility on this point because this year is about battery and how you preserve it and how much power you're able to hold on to, But at the middle sector, at the first half of the race, that's where you need to hold on to that before the final stretch of the race. Hold on to your power, hold on to your battery, and try and preserve as much as you can. Because this year it's more about, like you said, battery rather than the pace. But once the battery dies down, you're not able to overtake because the overtaking is just goes away. If you can't overtake because of the battery, then you're screwed. Last year it was purely based on fuel. This year it's hybrid. It's a hybrid car this year, so it's between battery and fuel. So you're fueled up at the start, and then your battery is what gets you over the line. And if you don't have the battery, you're going to struggle. But the Mercedes have the package. Mercedes have the compression to get over the line because their package is just more durable. It lasts for a very long time. You're able to hold on to that because I think if Mercedes slow down, they're still tough to get through. George Russell, Kimi Antonelli, the defense that they have ahead of him, they're able to hold off of other drivers. So listen, I mean, the Hamilton and Russell battle at the start, and as well as Charles Leclerc at one point, it only happened because they were going for it from the start. George Russell and Kimi Antonelli know how to preserve their batteries, and that's why they've won the last 2 races. They know how to hold on to their power and preserve their enough battery. You know what I mean? But I don't know if you guys agree or disagree. I don't know if you want to add any other points. I mean, I've said pretty much what I had to say. Any other comments you want to add? Any other questions you would like to ask? Leave it in the chat. I will get to your questions. But that's all I can really say, to be honest with you. It's more about preserving power and preserving the battery from the start. Mercedes do that very, very well, hence why they're able to win the races. Ferrari, go through from the start, but once it gets to the middle sector, the final stretch of the race, they lose their pace because Mercedes have the durable battery and the durable package to get to the finish line, and that's how they win. But that's all I can really add, bro. I don't know if you want to add anything more before we close out or what.
No, very well said. I agree with you. The truth is, Mercedes, at the heart of it, the car is about the engine. The engine is the soul of the car, and Mercedes' engine is just, it's not just the best hybrid engine. It's a league of its own, right? They are so durable. They have more power in the tank than they finish with. And I still think Mercedes are sandbagging a bit. I still think they can be even more dominant. They're just saving it in the tank for when they need to, which is a super scary sensation in the sight to behold. But Ferrari are also trying to mitigate this loophole and find a loophole of themselves. And I think we'll see what happens in Monaco. I think the Monaco Grand Prix will be very telling of where these regulations are going to go. Because if that new FIA check of monitoring the engine compression when it's static and when it's out on track, if it's ineffective, well, we are in for a world of chaos, a world of complete chaos and unfiltered innovation. What do I mean by that? Yeah, dude, I absolutely think Mercedes have more. All the reports are suggesting they have more. And even today, like Charles Leclerc said, they had more in the tank. They were faster today than they were in Australia. They didn't bring any upgrades. They just have more in the tank. They don't need to use it yet, even in qualifying. They were slower in the actual main qualifying session than they were in the sprint qualifying. Conditions play a part, but they can be a lot quicker if they wanted to. I just think at the moment it's also playing game of politics, making sure Formula One is entertaining, but also still dominating and winning. That isn't to say that the battles that Mercedes are having with Ferrari are inauthentic. No, absolutely. Ferrari are quicker in corners, quicker off the line, no doubt about that. But in terms of pure power, in terms of being quick towards the end of races, stint number 2 or stint number 3 in a 2-stop race, Mercedes absolutely can extract more power out of their engine than any other team can. While other teams are trying to fight for their survival, Mercedes are just floundering their way up to the finish line.
Yeah, man. I mean, we said all our points. I don't know if you guys want to add anything more. Otherwise, we're going to wrap it up here, people. It's been a good show. It's been a good discussion. Definitely, we will get back to you guys again, I think, next week.
We'll do sports talk.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely do sports talk. I think we should definitely do sports talk in between the month of. I'd say we haven't done sports talk in February, have we? Or have we done sports talk?
So we'll do it this week. There's no F1, so we can do it.
Yeah, man. I think so. We'll be back for sports talk. We'll be back for to commence a lot of what's happened, Formula One so far. In the 2-week break of Formula One, next week there's no racing, but the week after that there will be a Suzuka, and then we'll have a whole month and a half off before the next race. Do stay tuned to tomorrow, people. Red Army Run Pod tomorrow. Hopefully United get 3 points so we can have a happy Red Army Run Pod. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the United show and the Premier League show and the Champions League show. Don't forget we have 3 shows lined up. Premier League show will be on I think Tuesday, or Champions League shows on Tuesday. I don't know when I'll do that. I'll probably decide in the coming hours or tomorrow. We shall see, people. Big up to Fosi. Thank you for joining, bro. Big up to you, my guy. Big up to GK, who's in the chat as well. But yeah, people, stay tuned to the scheduled shows. I will be scheduling a lot more shows, and the first NFL show will be back after a very long time. So we'll be covering NFL. We'll be covering sports talk. Gustia and I will be doing sports talk very, very soon. So make sure you guys do stay tuned to that. And yeah, people, we're 38 subs to 600. So make sure you guys do subscribe if you're new around here. If you're watching from Twitter, head over to @AINSports7 on YouTube. Subscribe. It's in the comment. I put the YouTube channel in the comments, so make sure you guys go check it out. Just type exactly that in the search bar, and turn your notification bell so you don't miss an upload, you don't miss a live, you don't miss a video, and post notifications and whatnot. And yeah, big up to guys for joining, bro. Big up to you. Hopefully, everything goes to plan, and we'll definitely be back very, very soon. People, subscribe. We're getting close to 600 guys. So if you want to see more Formula One content, you want to see more sports content, hit that like button and subscribe. Helps out with the channel, helps out with the algorithm. And big up to everyone in the chat. Your comments mean a lot to us. Even if it's a hello, even if it's a big up or whatever. Leave your comment. I'll definitely bring up the comments as well. And Augustia, anything you want to add before we close out? Any final thoughts? Because we have a lot. Oh, and also NBA show, people, tomorrow. Back live for the NBA show tomorrow, because tomorrow, Monday, every single Monday, we're going to do NBA show. So stay tuned. It could be like a 4-show Monday tomorrow. So we shall see. We shall see, man.
Yeah, I guess 2 things. One, enjoy the season as it goes, because we as fans, the most we can do is just sit back, enjoy, and influence. And at the moment, we're getting wheel-to-wheel racing, which is fun. So you never know how long it lasts. We've seen seasons where it's been complete dominance without any action. We are getting dominance, but we are also getting action throughout the grid. And secondly, Ekevin, Tifosi, the next time we come back, Formula One may be Oscar winners, because Formula One at the moment is nominated for a bunch of awards at the Academy Awards later tonight. A bunch of different categories. Editing, they won't win Best Picture. And as much as I love Formula One, guys, they shouldn't win Best Picture. Very well made film. Super introspective look into F1. Wasn't the best film, though. But editing, score, soundtrack, you never know. So the next time we come here, Lewis Hamilton not only got his first ever podium, he might be a producer to a film that wins an Academy Award, which is just crazy. Crazy.
I mean, you said the Oscars is tomorrow, right?
It's tonight, yeah.
The Oscars hasn't even started yet, bro.
Yeah, one Oscar hasn't even started. The other one's
Yeah.
happening tomorrow.
Exactly. There's been no points awarded for Oscar this season. You know what I'm trying
Yeah.
to say?
Just the 3 in the
Yeah,
sprint. Nothing else.
Weird. But anyways,
Yeah.
people, we're only on 2 likes, 52 views so far. 2 likes. Come on, guys. 30 likes on the video, guys. Come on. 30 likes. That would be great. If you're watching this back, 30. Hit the like button and subscribe if you're new around here. Big up to Fosi again. Big up GK, who was here earlier. Big up Augustia. And people, take care. We're out. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Back tomorrow for more shows. Stay tuned. Like, share, subscribe. Forza Ferrari. Peace. Take care.